flockers, in this video we're gonna review the white-capped Pionus, which you guys know I am a huge fan of Pionuses, as I think they're one of the most underrated parrots in existence. And I talk a lot about Pionus on this channel, both in my top 5 beginner parrots, as well as one of my most popular videos is me reviewing my bronze-wing Pionus, as well as this shirt right here. Now I'm a huge fan of Pionus parrots because I liken them to really loyal pet dogs, and they also are just so unique looking. So like with this Pionus, the white-capped Pionus, it has this really distinct white head to it with this really beautiful forest green color to it. I mean, it doesn't really look like a parrot, and that's kind of what is a huge appeal to me about Pionus parrots. Very unique looking, like almost like hawk-like in bird pattern. And now white-capped Pionuses specifically come to us from Mexico and Central America. Now these guys are going to live of about like a 30-year lifespan, which is about normal for a lot of these medium-sized parrots, but it's definitely going to be a commitment. Now the white cap on this baby Pionus hasn't fully grown out, but as you can see in the pictures, like it's a really cool look that these birds have once they're fully grown adults. Now this baby white cap comes to us from OMAR'S Exotic Birds, which is my go-to pet store here in Southern California, where I got the majority of my flock. And I like them because they actually leave the birds out like a petting zoo, so humans and birds learn to like coexist, and you just end up being super tame birds right out of the shop. And now while they did not sponsor this video, they were nice enough to loan me this parrot for this review, so for that, thank you guys so much. Now the main question is this bird gonna be the right parrot for you? And to break this down, we got our 6 categories, which are gonna be handleability, quietness, talking ability, care, hardiness, and upfront cost. Now here's the thing, I plan to review every single parrot in existence on this channel, seriously. So if you want to follow along my journey, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, as you're not going to want to miss any video. If you find this video really valuable, please make sure you hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm to help spread the love of white-capped Pionuses to people all over the internet. Now with that aside, let's go ahead and get started. Now first off is going to be handleability, and for handleability, I give the white-capped Pionus a score of 4 out of 5. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I kind of see Pionuses as just very loyal lap dogs. I mean, they will just chill with you all day long, just sit on your shoulder, on your lap. They just want to be around you. They don't necessarily need to be played with. They just want to be there in your presence, like a watchdog trying to protect its owner. And they just really like people and their owners, especially. They just love being around people. Now here's the thing, they're not a cuddly bird. Like if you're looking for something that you can like hug and squeeze, Pionuses aren't really like that. They're just more of a dog that you can just kind of pet on the side when it's like laying next to you, kind of an animal. And that's kind of just about like its only fault. And it's also generally not really a nippy bird. Like yeah, they can get a little like bossy and things just like any other bird, but they're not really known to be super nippy. But I would say really the only major fault that this bird would have is that they can be a little shy, especially if there's someone that's trying to rough handle them, because they definitely don't like being grabbed and squeezed. Just wants to chill and relax, hang out, be talked to, be petted occasionally, but definitely not a huggable animal. But aside from that, these birds are very easy to handle, and they're great for kids, and they're just very great family birds in my opinion. Now next up on this list is going to be quietness, and for quietness, I give the white-cap a score of 4 out of 5. These birds are just very quiet. They don't really vocalize. You practically won't even know that you have a bird in the house a lot of times. I mean, they're really quiet birds, and as such, I really recommend them for apartments. They're great apartment birds. If you want like a larger bird versus like something that's really small, but you live in an apartment setting so you can't handle the noise, Pionus are great choices. Now, the rare times they do vocalize, they can get decently loud, but it's going to be so rare, no one's even going to know you have a parrot, really. So I wouldn't really be concerned about that at all. Now, next up is going to be talking ability, and for talking ability, I give the white-capped Pionus a score of 2 out of 5. So general rule of thumb, the louder and more noisy a bird is, the more likely they are to talk. But Pionus, being very quiet birds, it's not really a talking bird. If you are looking for a talking parrot specifically, and you don't mind having a noisy bird, then this bird may not be right for you, as they pretty much just rarely vocalize, and even when they do vocalize, it's very unlikely they're going to be talking. But granted, if you do want to chance out on a talking Pionus, you'll want to try and get a male Pionus, as generally males are the ones that are more likely to talk. And if you do get one that talks, it's going to be very poor quality. It's just going to be kind of more of a mumble, mutter, very scratchy, low volume. But it can be cute that if every once in a while it does smutter like a phrase or two, it's just a nice little change of pace of things. Next up on this list is going to be Care, and for Care, I give the white cap Pionus a score of 5 out of 5. Pionus parrots, in my opinion, are just one of the easiest parrots to take care of. The thing is they're just very low energy, low stimulation birds. They really just chill all day, but not in a boring way like an eclectus. They just like to just be around you, feel like they're part of the flock, and just chill out. And on top of that, being just very low energy and things, like their diet isn't anything crazy. You just throw them some pellet diets and, your fruits and veggies every other day, and like you're pretty much set. Now they are like a good medium-sized bird, so you want like probably a larger cage, but even like a smaller cage is okay as long as you can offset it with it being out of the cage most of the day. As really when it's going in the cage, it's just gonna be chilling and like sleeping pretty much. And then you just throw in like some toys and you're pretty much set. Like they don't need much mental stimulation, which is awesome. It's as low maintenance of a parrot as you can get, in my opinion, which is also perfect if you live in an apartment and you have a 9 to 5, as pretty much the bird's just gonna chill all day in the cage. You come home, you let it out of the cage, and then it just chills with you while you're just playing video games or something. You really can't ask for anything easier, in my opinion. So next up on this list is going to be hardiness, and for hardiness, I give the white cap a score of 4 out of 5. They're overall a very hardy bird. They can survive outdoors and they can acclimate pretty well. And in my opinion, they're a very solid size. Now this is a baby, so it's a little bit smaller. They're actually gonna get quite a bit bigger than this, but not anything too crazy. Just like a solid medium size. And in my opinion, they're the perfect size if you have children, because I'm not really worried about that parrot getting crushed. It can handle rough handling if it were to let you, which it generally doesn't. And that's kind of what's great, is like these birds are pretty good at like protecting themselves. So in my opinion, they're just really great hardy birds. You really can't ask for much more without getting an even larger bird. Next up on this list is going to be upfront costs, and for that I give this bird a score of 3 out of 5. It's not exactly the most affordable parrot, but it's also not bad. You're gonna find these birds about $1,500 to $2,000 kind of a range. Though I will say prices have been just going up overall with parrots because of inflation and the whole bird shortage right now. But still, in my opinion, a relatively affordable parrot, and especially for, the lifespan of 30 years, it's going to be like a really good ROI compared to, say, getting like a dog, especially if you're looking for like a dog in a bird body, which this bird absolutely is. But then aside from that, rule of thumb, get the largest cage you can, like for any bird. And this being a medium-sized bird, you definitely still want a larger cage. But if you are in an apartment setting and you don't have much space, you can get away with it and you can work out like a slightly smaller cage, still in the medium sized realm of things. But this bird will be fine as long as you can let it outside the cage most of the time. So it really makes this bird relatively affordable. And on top of that, just being a lower energy bird, they don't consume as much food, so just your occasional fruits and veggies, and then throw it on a pellet diet and you're pretty much set. It's not really a crazy bird to take care of. And then even toys, like they are destructive, but not like a crazy amount like some other birds, because they're just so low energy. They're not really going to go through toys as much as some other larger birds. So that's absolutely great in terms of just the upkeep costs. So overall comes the final score. And for the final score, I rate the white cap Pionus a score of 3.5 out of 5. It is an absolute amazing bird to have. It is one of the best beginner birds you can possibly get, in my opinion. Just any Pionus, just get one if you can. But the biggest thing and why they're not as high of a score is just gonna be their price. You know, they are a more expensive bird, and that's partly kind of my big gripe, is like, these birds really are like one of the best pet birds for the vast majority of people who want a parrot, but they are gonna be expensive largely because they're unpopular, and as such they're gonna be really hard to find. There's not many Pionus breeders out there. Which is where I kind of hope that with my videos kind of gloating about these Pionuses, it's gonna encourage breeders to start making more of these birds, because they are just fabulous pets. They're affordable, they're easy to care for, they're not really prone to like mental issues because they're just low energy and easy to please. As long as they just hang out with you, that's good enough for these birds. Like, these birds aren't gonna be getting rehomed like a lot of other popular birds like macaws and cockatoos that people end up getting and realize it's way more bird than they asked for. This is like the perfect amount, in my opinion. So if you are a beginner looking for a really great bird that's a little different, unique looking, you live in an apartment perhaps, then this parrot might be the right parrot for you. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.